What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and in today's video we've got a new install for you guys for the Supra. It looks like I ordered this part back in October and it finally just came in, so let me show you what we got. Well, look who decided to show up. Looks like we've got a Blitz piece here. As a reminder, I had ordered this back last month, so just a recap on that order too. I ordered that, and a couple days after I had ordered it, they told me that it was actually on back order. So I had to wait about a month for it to finally come in. Overnight some parts from Japan.
We have to overnight parts from Japan.
And yeah, so we finally got it in hand. So go ahead and open it up and see what we're working with. So. Christmas came early. Alright guys, so if you guys can't tell yet, we did get us a strut bar. Let me go ahead and show you what all the pieces look like a little closer. On a side note, they really did a good job packaging this stuff. I mean, it's like super bubbled up. Alright guys, so this is a Blitz strut bar. This is made out of aluminum, so it is lightweight but yet very durable and very strong. So essentially it does look like we have this black piece here that does appear to be powder coated. It's a very nice piece. You see right in the middle there it says Blitz. We also have these red bars that are pretty much going to be anchored to the sides of the strut brace. It is really nice high quality. I like the gloss red finish on these. They look great. I think it'll help accentuate the car, especially with a color match for the Renaissance red that's currently on the Supra. You also get a Blitz sticker here and an assortment of bolts and nuts as well as washers. This should pretty much help to bolt everything together. It looks like you also have a sheet of instruction. Unfortunately, I believe this is in Japanese, and you guys know how I feel about these black and white instructions, but luckily the pictures look like they're semi-detailed, so I think we'll be able to get through this. Okay guys, so before I actually put the piece together, let me go ahead and show you what it looks like under the hood. That way you can see a before and after of what everything's going to look like. So let's take a look. Alright guys, so we are under the hood of the Supra. It is a little dusty here, I didn't even notice that, but so this is what it looks like underneath stock. This is a 2020. On the 2021s, they do come with strut bars that go from here to the strut tower. So essentially what this piece is going to do is going to have a long bar right here, and then the sides are going to go pretty much up that way. So let me go ahead and get that assembled so we can throw it in. But this is what it looks like stock. Alright guys, so installation looks pretty straightforward. You do have a couple bolts, nuts, and washers in here. So we'll go ahead and open this up. And like I was saying earlier, I'm really impressed with the way this piece looks. I believe before taxes this piece costs about, I want to say $240, $250-ish. It is back ordered on a couple of websites, but luckily we were able to get our piece in, no problem. So I'm going to take these bolts real quick and let's see what goes where under the hood. Because these instructions are unfortunately a little hard to read. So we're just going to test these. These do look like different size bolts, so shouldn't be too difficult to figure that out in the car. Alright, we are here. I think that bolt goes here. Oh. Oh my god. No. Oh no. Oh well. That's fun. Alright, had to get the intake off to get the bolt. So, yeah, I have a really bad time with these stupid bolts. Every install video, it seems like under the hood, I always drop one underneath the bonnet, so gotta be careful. Using deductive reasoning here, I pretty much organized everything as you can see. So essentially, these are the long bolts here. This washer fits this, so I'm going to say that goes there. These are the thicker, I think, M10 bolts. And obviously this washer fits that, so I believe that goes like this. There is torque specs on this paper here, so that's going to be helpful when we torque everything down. But as far as instructions for where the bolts go where, it's pretty much going to be self-explanatory and just basically experimental, see where what bolt goes where. So we'll walk through it together. But before we actually get the strut bar into the hood, let's go ahead and piece these pieces together. It looks like there's only 3 big pieces, and luckily the bolts are actually in the middle piece already here. So it should be pretty straightforward. Let's do it. And heads up guys, for this portion you can actually use a 14mm. That should actually make this part a little quicker. If you have a wrench, that works too, but we're going to go ahead and use the 14mm since it'll be a little faster to install. And of course we'll tighten everything once we get it in the car. Alright, so this looks like a pretty nice solid piece. Again, this is where the 9mm socket goes, and then here is a 14mm. You can use a wrench or you can use a socket, whatever works easier for you. Personally, I use this, made it go a little quicker. It is a little loose right now, but we're gonna go ahead and tighten everything down once we get it in the car. So let's go ahead and throw it under the hood and do a quick test feed. Alright. Wow, it's looking cool, and I haven't even bolted anything down yet. Okay guys, so we're pretty much just test fitting everything. It looks like it lines up pretty well. We're just gonna have to leave the bolts a little loose when we start to screw things in. And that's why I kind of left this loose, so we can make some room for adjustments. But let's go ahead and start putting the bolts in, and hopefully we don't lose any bolts, any nuts. Enough of that under hood shenanigans stuff, so let's get to it. Alright, so we did find out our bolts and washer scenario. So these ones here are going to be going to the front of the vehicle. And these just screw right in. Alright, that doesn't look too bad there. So again, these are just hand tight, nothing is tightening up at the moment. So let's get to it, working on these. Alright guys, I think this part's going to be a little more difficult because we're going to have to thread the bolt right through here, through this hole. And on top of that, we're going to have to go underneath where the wheel well is to fit our hand to put the nut going onto the bolt. So let's go ahead and try that out. That went in there easy enough. I think my arms are gonna get dirty here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take my sweater off. It's gonna be a tight fit. What I could do is jack the car up to give me a little more space underneath the wheel well, but your boy is lazy. Okay, so once you thread it through the top right here, guys, you're gonna see it right underneath. Let's see if I can put that in. Apologies if it's a little hard to see, but I'm hoping you guys can see that from underneath. Right there. So now that we see where that bolt threaded through, let's see if we can actually throw the nut on there. It's gonna be a tight squeeze. Okay, got one side on. Hey Mickey, you gonna go for a walk? All right, see ya. All right, one side down, one more to go. A little hint, guys, so if this keeps falling off, if you have bigger hands or anything like that, what I tried to do earlier, I actually just took it off, but what you can do as a little tip is when you undo the washer, you can put maybe 2 drops of super glue on this and then put the washer on, let it dry for a little bit. That way the washer doesn't fall off when you're trying to place it onto the bolt. So it makes it a little easier for you when you're trying to finagle your way underneath the car. So just a quick tip. Okay guys, I just got done threading the second nut onto the bolt. I just want to show you how tight the fit is. That way you can kind of judge whether or not you need to jack the car up. That way the car doesn't sit on the wheels and the suspension, so you have a little more space and clearance to get your arm underneath the car. But let me show you what it looks like. So this is pretty much the fit you need to get your arm underneath. So essentially you'll have to cram your arm all the way underneath. As you can see, it kind of stops right here for me to get that bolt in. It's a really tight squeeze. I don't really have very big forearms, but once you get it underneath, you're gonna have to thread the nut onto the bolt. Now, if that's something you feel like you're gonna need more clearance, you can do, I think you have really 2 options. You can either jack the car up and hopefully the car doesn't sit on suspension, allowing a little more clearance between the wheel and the plastic trim piece, or you can just jack the car up, take the wheel off, and just go from there. That's probably the easiest way, but obviously that's more work to do. So make up your own best judgment, but luckily we got the nuts on there, so let me see if I can tighten everything up and let's see what it looks like after. All right, funny enough, I was going back to grab some tools from my toolbox and I actually found that I actually do have a socket set. I don't remember when I bought this, but this is going to be super helpful. It does have 14 mils on here, so we're going to be able to tighten it from the top and actually do it right this time. We can use the actual torque wrench instead of just guessing with the Ooga Dooga tool. Okay guys, this is going to be a 6mm hex socket, so I'm just going to hand tighten this first and then we'll go ahead and torque it down. Torque specs for this is about 29 nanometers or about 22 foot-pounds of torque. Doesn't seem like very much, but we'll go with the specs they told us. All right, perfect. On to the other side. Okay. Alright guys, so for this section here, this is actually, I don't know why, but on my manual socket it's a 9, but this is actually fitting an 8 on this, so I don't know, use whatever fits, but I'm going to say this is an 8mm. This is going to be torqued down to 43 nanometers or about 31 foot-pounds of torque, so we're going to go ahead and get that done. Guys, last bolt here across the engine here. This is also an 8mm. This is going to be torqued down to about 57 nanometers, or let me see here, about 41 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna need the 14 mil to hold this down. Alright guys, we're all done. Install probably took about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour 20, hour 30 minutes. That's mostly because of me just test fitting things and just trying to get the nut onto the bolt and figure things out myself without the instructions. But pretty straightforward. I think any of you guys can do it. Super easy. I do have a couple of tips, but before I get to that, let me go ahead and show you what the engine bay looks like. It looks so much better. I think it looks a little sportier, and I'm really excited to see how it actually feels and functions, but let's take a look. All right, here it is, guys. So it is pretty much installed. Again, this is the Blitz Strut Brace, Power Bar, whatever you want to call it. It already has pre-drilled holes into the A90, the 2020 version, so it made install super easy. As you can see here, it actually fits quite nicely. The stock airbox here already has an indentation here. They already know that you were going to put a strut bar on this, but funny enough, the 2021s come with them stock, but the aftermarket here really kind of fixes it all up. So again, this is the Blitz Strut Tower Bar. Not a complete color match to the original Renaissance red that comes on the car, but it's really not big of a difference. It doesn't really bother me at all, but it looks great. The finish is wonderful, nice and smooth. A couple of tips that I do have. So I did mention earlier, when you're getting these bolts in from the top, make sure that you keep the washer and the nut together in one piece when you're threading it underneath. Like I said, try to use that super glue tip. Just put 1 or 2 drops on there to keep it on there. If it's hard for you and it keeps falling off, that kind of helps out quite a bit. Another tip that I have too, guys, is when you are tightening these bolts, make sure that you keep your 14mm wrench when you're holding it, because otherwise it's going to spin. Make sure you put it in an area where it doesn't clip against the actual bar. As you can kind of see here, it dug into it a little bit. I had to loosen it back up after I had torqued it down just to remove the wrench because it got stuck in between. So just be wary of that as well. And of course, when you're first putting it in, test fit is essential. Do not tighten anything down until you get all the bolts in, including this, and on the corners over there as well. So just be wary of that. But yeah, guys, overall, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. For about $250, I'm quite happy. Not too bad at all. Great fit, great finish. I am excited to see what it feels like on the road. I'm sure the turning will be a little more stiffer, and just the ride in general, but that's something that I really do enjoy about these sports cars. You want to throw them around, have fun, and drive them a little aggressively. But yeah, it looks great. I did pick the Blitz Strut Bar specifically because of the fit and the color. There is the Cusco that's also available too. I know a lot of A90 folks use that, but I feel like this matches the engine a little better just because of the red, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, looks pretty good. All right, so there you have it, guys. That's pretty much it. We got the Blitz Strut Tower Bar placed into the A90 Supra. Installation is pretty easy. I'll link all the tools down low on what I used and the torque specs. That way you guys have a better idea how to put it together yourself. Like I said, I'm fairly happy with the way it looked. The fitment, it wasn't very difficult to install. I'm confident you guys can do it as well. Updates. So E36 is still in the shop. My mechanic shop is actually renovating their shop at the moment, so it's been down for a little while, which is fine. I'm still pretty much collecting all that's necessary to get the car up and running as far as my budget goes. I do have a lot of plans for the car. Plans are changing. I'm sure you guys saw my S50 rebuild video. Just keep in mind that things change as time progresses, but I'm really excited for the way the car is going to come out, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please hit that like button. It greatly helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Also hit subscribe if you want to consider following me. I really appreciate it, guys. We're almost at 100, so I know it's not very much to some, but to me it means everything. Anyways, guys, take care. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Remember, respect your elders. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.